12:02. So we're going to go ahead and get started. A couple housekeeping things before we kind of get into it. I'm recording the session today. I usually takes me a day or two to get this kind of turned around, edited, get the slides put together in a PDF. So I will send this out to you all by the end of the week. So no worries if you have to jump early, or if you registered and weren't able to attend a live, we will send out the recording. We also have the chat open. We have the Q&A open. So make sure you all take advantage of that. I was just telling Alex before you all jumped in that we've had a lot of interaction and a lot of great comments from the chat over the last few months. So we'd love to see that continue. So make sure if you have anything to add to the conversation, we'd love to hear it in the chat. If you have any questions about what we're talking about, we'll be monitoring the chat and the Q&A. So feel free to take advantage of both of those. And we love seeing everyone get introduced here. We've got people from all over the country, which is great to hear. Yeah, and we're going to get started. I think that's all the housekeeping I have. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to jump into our introductions. Now, if you've been attending these webinars for some decent period of time, you'll know that I enjoy taking our headshots and asking Gemini or ChatGPT to do something with our photos. And without Gemini always, for whatever reason, adds about 20 pounds to my headshot. Fine. But anyways, I asked Gemini to make a holiday themed photo. So there's myself and Alex with Christmas hats on and snowing in the background. But Alex, I would thank you so much for joining us today. I would love for you to introduce yourself, give us a little bit about your background,
Sure.
where you're from, and everything else.
Sure. Well, good day, everybody. Alex Stanzione, solutions consultant at NPact. I live Murraysville, Pennsylvania, about 15 miles east of the city of Pittsburgh with my wife and my daughter. I've been at NPact as a Razor's Edge consultant since November of 22 after 6.5 years at Blackbaud, doing Razor's Edge consulting for conversions, implementations, migrations, and just generic Razor's Edge consulting needs. It's a little one of my favorite passions is golf, but obviously here in the Northeast don't get a lot of that in December. So hopefully hitting up the simulator here soon over the next couple of weeks with some friends and family and try to work on my horrific swing and work on my 22 handicap. So a
Sure.
little bit about me. Happy to be here, Kevin. Thank you for hosting and allowing me to host with you today. Looking forward to our discussion.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And my name's Kevin Wood. I'm the director of sales here at NPact. I spent 15 years in the nonprofit world as a Razor's Edge database manager. Worked at a healthcare foundation. I worked at a university. For 10 years, I worked at a high school here in Cincinnati. Was an independent consultant for a number of those years. And then I am approaching my 4-year anniversary with NPact, where I started off as a Razor's Edge consultant and then moved over to sales and business development and doing amazing things like being able to provide you all with this webinar content each month. One of my favorite parts of my job is doing this kind of thing. So again, welcome everyone, and let's get into it. So with our agenda today, very basic. We have some questions for you, and then this is our Ask Us Anything. We like to do for kind of December and January. We open the floor up for kind of any questions you all have. So you guys submitted some amazing questions during your registration. We have so many that we're also going to carry this over to January. So kind of be back to back of Ask Us Anything. So we're going to get right into that. But before we do, some questions for you. And I'm going to launch my full question right there. We'd love to get an idea of kind of who we're talking to. We usually see kind of a higher majority of data managers, but love seeing the fundraisers in here, and kind of anyone else that uses Razor's Edge in maybe a different manner than just database management, administration, gift entry, and that sort of thing. And we always love those small organizations where we're one person shop, that you do fundraising, you do gift entry, you do acknowledgments and receipts, and kind of all of the above.
I've been there, Kevin.
Yeah.
I've been a shop of one. Really shout out to everybody, of course, in data and data management, but an extra shout out to those folks who are wearing
Yeah.
3, 4 hats simultaneously.
All right. Let me end that one. How do I? The poll is being shared in the meeting. How do I unshare? Man, I knew I should. I don't never share the results, and I did on this one, and now I got to figure out. Stop sharing. There we go. All right. So, how long have you used Razor's Edge? Again, we like to get an idea of kind of the experience level we're working with. And I think I say this every month, but I love seeing the people that have been here 10 plus years through the trenches of RE5, 6, DOS, maybe RE7 into NXT. We always hope we can provide some content that will be beneficial for you all. And lastly, if your relationship status with Razor's Edge, if it was shared on Facebook, what would it be? We will hopefully, oh, nice to see some grades right off the jump, or a grade right off the jump. And our goal for this every month is that to help you move up a status or two through our discussion today. Hope you walk away with some good information. Okay, done with the polls and into it. So at NPact, we're a Blackbaud channel partner. So what that means is we are kind of authorized to deliver services on behalf of Blackbaud. We do a lot of implementations and conversions for both Razor's Edge and Financial Edge. We also sell services on our own behalf. But what that doesn't mean is that we get any other insider information about product releases and upcoming things that are moving from database view to web view. We get that information at the same time as you all get it. So a couple places that I always encourage people to look to hear about the roadmap and that sort of thing is just on the home screen when you log into Razor's Edge. There is a tile here. You may just ignore it, but it has updates, and those happen almost weekly. There was a little bit of a downtime throughout Giving Tuesday, and it'll be downtime towards the end of the year because we're busy season. But a lot of new stuff has been coming out on Tuesdays. So that's one place to look. The other place is the product update briefings. This happen twice a year. First one I think happened in May. The most recent one was just a couple weeks ago. We're going to share a screenshot from that as well here. But if you missed it, you can use this link or just go to blackbaud.com and search for the pub, and you can get the on-demand recording so you can see kind of the stuff we're talking about. Also, every Blackbaud product that you may use has a pub. So if you are an FE user or Altru or something else, you can go catch that product update briefing as well. A lot of the questions that were submitted to us were asking about functionality that's moving over. Again, we don't have any information to share about that, but I do want to share this screenshot from the pub that has kind of their timeline roadmap of what's available now, what's coming next, and what's looking ahead. So I'll give you a second. If you want to take a screenshot of this, feel free to now. I'll also send it out in the recording. But one of the things I wanted to point out, which is we're not going to necessarily discuss today, but one of the things I'm really excited about, you may already have it because it's in early release, is the batch entry in WebView in the grid format. So what you're used to in database view in the kind of the grid, you can tab through, makes it really easy, is available for some folks in WebView now, but will be coming, I think, in 26 for everybody. So I'm really, really excited about that. I don't think it's available in our test environment. Alex, I don't know if you've looked. I don't think I've looked.
It is not available yet.
Okay.
No, sadly, no. Can't, and I concur with you, Kevin. Can't come soon enough. Ready
Yeah.
for it. Clients are ready for it, itching for it.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So we're going to get into our questions now. You guys have asked a lot of ones that were kind of related, so we combined some questions. And we're going to start with this one. Alex, I'll turn the floor over to you. And if I have the test environment pulled up, a database view, web view, just let me know where you want to go, but kind of talk through about processing, best practices for processing event registrations.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Kevin, yeah, if you wouldn't mind, if you want to get into NXT and get into the event module here, this is I thought it was a really good question. And when I'm working with our clients, I say I really encourage you to try to get as many people to go through the donation form as possible, excuse me, the event registration form as possible, because in my opinion, at least, I think it makes it a little bit easier. It's definitely two different worlds. Online registrations will come through the RENXT batches, the gift batches. Those gift batches are separate from the donation form batches. One very important note. This is as of today. The online data review is not available for event registrants and guests. That is and planned for 2026. That was mentioned in the pub. But it's only, as of today, automatic matching only. So they are hearing from folks that you see, especially here with the participants, you see the section where it says possible duplicates, matched constituents, new named constituents. Those have to do specifically with only automatic matching being available. So it's really two worlds as I'm getting at. We got our online folks and that have to come through the form. Obviously, you edit those batches if you need to approve those batches. The gifts hit the system, and then the participants, the registrants, and if appropriate, the guests are added. For the manual, if you want to go ahead and do work with participants, Kevin, if you don't mind dig in here. The manual has two parts. There is, and Kevin, you can go to your name actually while you're here as a registrant here. There's two parts to it. There are the registration fees, and then there's the gift data to cover the fees. In RENXT, if Kevin hits the ad, you will see three options here. You will be able to add the fee and then add the gift data. That's the payment. You can just add the fee, and in a sense, it creates a loose pledge where there is an outstanding balance of they've purchased two tickets and they still owe us money. And then you have the ability to then add the gift payment here to then link to the fee that you've already put in. So it's sort of for the manual an order of operations. You got to get the fee in and then you got to get the payment in. But do you have the fee and the payment together? That's the first box. Do you just have the fee first and then you retroactively have to come back and add the payment to it? That's how you do it in here in NXT. When it comes to gift data entry, that does depend on your organization's policy and procedure for gift data entry. Some clients, you have the ability to come in here and just add a gift willy-nilly and add the payment. Others, we do all our manual gift entry in the database view because that's our policy and procedure, and grid batching is not available in RENXT yet. You will have the ability to link gifts from that constituent to cover the fees. So even if you enter the gift in the database view, you can still link it to the fee here and cover it. And then also in the database view, if you're really database view focused, you do have the ability to link those payments to the fees, even though if the fee has been added here in RENXT. So I know that's a lot of information. I have to openly admit that. That's why I loved this question. Two separate worlds. And when it comes to the manual, it really depends on your gift data entry process, the flow that you're going to take to add that gift payment to cover the fee. So there's a few ways to go about it. I know that's a great answer to give everybody on this webinar, but as of today, there are a few ways to go about it, and it does depend on your policy and procedure.
Yeah. And yeah, thanks a lot for sharing all that, Alex. One of the things I'll add, you had mentioned earlier about online data review for event registrations. That doesn't exist yet. I do want to point out, because this has come up before, when we're talking about now switching gears completely to online donations. Through online donations that come through online giving forms, we have in our tools, no, yes, tools, no, in our control panel, yes, in our control panel, we have an option on how we handle the gifts that come in through an online donation. So under control panel and gift management, we have this online data review tab tile here. And this is what Alex was referring to before. This does not have anything to do with event registrations, just online gifts. But we have the ability to ask or tell Razor's Edge how we want to handle transactions that come through online giving. So automatic constituent matching does a fairly decent job of finding constituents that already exist and matching the gift to the record. It's not 100% exact. So some organizations will say, okay, I don't want to do automatic matching, but I want to review the ones that have not been matched. So that's this option here. I have a couple clients that say, we want to put our eyes on every single transaction that comes in. And this is, think back to Online Express. This is kind of how we had to handle Online Express, where we reviewed every transaction that came in. And that's this option here. So I wanted to point that out. Again, doesn't have anything to do with the question that was asked, but this comes up a lot about how we kind of where to find this. A caveat: if you don't have access to settings or you don't see control panel as an option for you, that means that your security isn't set up adequately or set up so that you can see that. So you'll need to work through your site admin or someone maybe at a higher level than you that has more security to be able to see this control panel settings. Cool. Any questions, comments? Alex, anything else about event registrations?
Audrey asked about third-party event platforms and how to
Yep.
bring the data over. And I know some of you folks might be watching there. There are a variety of options. Number one, just doing the grunt work and adding the participants and adding the guests and adding the fees and adding the event data in all manually. You can do some imports. That would be multiple imports. That would be an event import and then a gift import. You could also use
And
third-party
potentially a constituent
products.
import as well.
Yeah, it would be yes. It would be
Yeah.
you're right. Potentially a constituent import, an event import, and then a gift import. And then there's third-party products. I had a client that was using an event product. Importacular had an option out there. There is an import functionality from a company called Smart Thing that does a lot of integration with Razor's Edge. I'm going to assume, I don't know for sure, that Omatic probably has something. Please do not quote me on that.
They do,
Uh,
and yeah, and we have Omatic is one of our partners. They do have the way to think about Omatic, kind of data moving around with Omatic is that it can take pretty much any outside data source and bring it into Razor's Edge. So event registrations, gifts, kind of anything outside of RE.
the the one thing, and then Kevin, obviously, I know we got time and we want to move on. It to me, it depends. We're using a third party event product. I think it depends on how many people are attending, how many fees, how many gifts, and how much money you're raising. Does it then, your time is money, folks. So potentially purchasing a third-party product in the long run could save time, energy, and effort, which could potentially save money as well. So I think there's some things to consider when do we want to get a third-party product to assist us in moving the data over to Razor's Edge. Those are just some considerations I would make.
Yeah. Thanks, Carlene. I did see that. There is, and Blackbot is hosting a webinar
Ah,
concurrently, I think, with us about third-party event reg and integrations. I would also be remiss to not to also mention Trellis is one of the few. I know I'm not going to say the only one, but one of the few event platforms that has a direct integration with Razor's Edge. So their strong suit is raffles, auctions, golf outings, that sort of thing, but has a direct integration with RE. Also, want to mention Greater Giving, One Cause, the big kind of auction gala platforms that have some sort of indirect integration in terms of export, import, that sort of thing. So we actually, I think one of our webinars in 26 is specific to events. So make sure you tune in for that one because we'll dive very deeply into this topic. Okay, amazing. Let's get back to our next question. If you have any questions about any more questions about events, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll grab them at the end. Okay, how do I prepare and send out year-end statements? So a couple of different ways, and I have examples pulled up in Database View and Web View. I'm going to start in Database View just because this was what we all grinded our teeth on for many, many, many years. Under a canned report, under financial reports, there is an annual statement report. It is exactly what it sounds like. And I have one pulled up here, and I just grabbed one for, again, this is dummy data, so it's not going to make a ton of sense, but all of our gifts from last calendar year, all the filters, all the tabs kind of are what you're used to with our canned reports. We also have the opportunity to change a little bit of the column descriptions and that sort of thing. But I also do want to call out the page footer as well. because out of the box, this report doesn't have any language specific to year-end statements. So you can put, the IRS kind of language that you're looking for in the footer of the text of the footer, the heading as well, like do annual statement report and so on. But let me run this for you because I'm going to have this pulled up and then show you kind of what is the new and improved version in WebView. I will show you as well. So this is old school PDF document. Unless we have a bunch of GIFs, it's one page per donor. You can kind of drill down here on the left-hand side to jump down and see that particular donor's GIFs. And then you can print this out and mail it. You can save it as a PDF and email it and so on. So this is kind of the old school way of doing it. Some people still love it that way. But I also wanted to show you over here under the GIF drop-down in WebView, giving statements is about halfway down. Now we have two different options of doing our giving statements. One is a PDF version. The other is an emailed version. So again, this may tie back to your policy and procedure manual of how you actually distribute this to your donors. But you have the ability to do both. So I'm going to start with just multiple statements. Now you can use a gift list, and I have one set up here for just all of our donors from last year. It's gift giving statement examples is the one I use. This is just everyone who has a gift from last calendar year. And then here you select whether you want it emailed out or generated a PDF. Now I'm not gonna, once you hit PDF and it generates, it'll take a couple minutes to kind of, it kind of runs in the, I'll show you, it'll run in the background, and it'll tell you, you'll get a little thing up here in your notifications that it's ready. But then you come back here, and you can come back here anytime to download your statements. What's nice about this is the file that it downloads. It does it individual PDF documents by person or by constituent. So when we look at, let me pull up Angie's record here. So this is her giving statement. Now this is a lot prettier than what gets generated out of database view, in my opinion. But you'll see a lot more of these kind of trail over into multiple pages because of the setup. But I will show you, I still have my PDF pulled up. Still have my PDF. Where's my PDF? Maybe here. Okay, let me run it again. I'll show you the side-by-side comparison of what Angie's record looks like in the two views. So here is Angie's record here, and here's Angie's statement here. So they look, it provides the same information. Again, WebView I think is just a little bit prettier, and this is kind of the direction we're moving towards. So that's what I would suggest. Now, if you choose to email instead of PDF, I will show you what that looks like. It looks very similar. I ran mine and had it emailed to me. Again, it looks very similar except it comes through in an email. You can set up who it comes from as well in settings. And then I think you can also edit the subject line of the email as well. So yeah, those are the two options. Alex, do you have anything to add with any of that?
Yeah, a few things about the giving statements in NXT where Kevin is. I had one client that didn't like that it was being summarized as well by fund. There really isn't a lot of editing of how the gift data is being displayed. And somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think gifting kind is also not included on these giving statements. And I think I
Okay.
had a few clients incorrect about that. One other option that I've had a few clients use is they just use the export module in the database view and they go to summary information and receipt amount. And instead of itemizing every gift, they just give them a grand receipt total. That's it, because they're grand receipt amount total. For obviously, they're doing it for cash only. Dollars that hit the bank that you're taking to the IRS. I can't say it's the best way to do it, but that is definitely one way on how to handle it.
Okay. Stock and WebView is not included. Many, yeah, I would.
Doc
If
is
someone asked me if they're starting from scratch, if someone, and there's the notification. If someone asked me what my preference is, maybe 2 years ago I would have said database view annual statements, but the more I use WebView, this is going to be my suggestion. how does the handle split gifts? I'm not sure I know the answer to that without trying it. Alex, do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but if you give me a couple of minutes here, I'm hoping that
Yeah,
I'll be able to give everybody an answer here. That's a really good question. I'm making an assumption it will be one gift listed and itemized, and it will show both funds, and then it will also do the summary appropriately. But split gifts, as we know, depending upon how you are reporting, querying, or exporting out, the full total could be split or it could not be split. So let me see if I
yeah.
can get an answer
But
here. It's a
yeah,
really,
if
really good
anyone,
question.
yeah, if anyone else in the chat has a answer to that, would love to hear it. Um, cool. Well, I think we're, yeah, let's jump to the next question, Alex. I think we're good here. Um, Now this is going to be very similar because a lot of people asked about receipts. So what, Alex, talk to us about receipts.
So there are a few ways to do receipts. Kevin, if you wouldn't mind, if you want to share your screen,
Yep.
I am same thing with an order of operations. I'm recommending where Kevin is in NXT that um, my clients create as many e-receipt templates as possible, as applicable. A lot of my clients want to start heading to e-receipt options. Obviously, postage is starting to get very, very expensive. And so they're going e-receipts. The nice thing about the e-receipts is we can dictate the templates and the text in the templates. A lot of my clients like control over what is being communicated to their donors, and they want to have more control over that. So I'm recommending that for at least order of operations, fire off the e-receipts and get those out appropriately. As of today, if you don't have an email, you can generate a PDF. The PDF cannot be edited. That is also changing in 2026, where the PDF will be able to be edited. I am not sure if there will be multiple template options like there are with the e-receipt templates, where we can have as many as we want. I do know at least the PDF will be edited. I'm hoping we can have multiple templates. That'd be lovely. And then I believe, at least for my clients, I'm recommending that we would use gift receipting in its entirety for my emails and my snail mails. Use only this functionality here. Now, a lot of my clients aren't happy with the way the PDF looks. That's as of today. And so, once again, with the order of operations, they send out the e-receipts, mark those gifts receipted and acknowledged, and then they're heading into the database view under the mail module, going to receipts there, and then generating an Excel file to then do a word merge of the receipts for
I hear a lot
entry
of
into my
steps there, Alex.
snail.
That's a lot of a lot of
Yeah,
steps.
I'm sorry. There's many ways to do it. I apologize. I'm not here to make anything more difficult. If it's easier, if you just want to do all snail mail, I recommend really truly where Kevin is here in the receipts in the database view and just generating an Excel file and handling the word merge out of it. If you think you can get away with all emails, then definitely do the e-receipts in RENXT. But if you have a mixed bag, I recommend firing out the e-receipts first, marking those gifts acknowledged and receipted, then coming in here and then generating the Excel file to get your snail mail. Sorry for the long-winded answer.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly the way we want to think about it. In both this function here in database view under receipts and in web view, we'll look at the receipt status. So make sure you're keeping an eye on or a handle on as you're receiving, mark gifts receipted so that they don't magically come up again in a later receipt run. Very, very important to keep. Same with acknowledgement status as well. But make sure you keep a handle on that as you're doing your gift entry. Okay. So on to back here. So we have some rapid fire questions as well. Like I mentioned, if you weren't here at the beginning of the call, we got so many questions submitted this month. We're going to take more next month, but so we're going to carry over some of the questions that we didn't get to this month to next month. But we always like to do this kind of rapid fire. We have these questions that have been asked. They don't get their own slide, but because most of the time it's a very short answer. So first, is the admin section of database view available in web view? The answer is no. As you all know, as we're kind of progressing through this transformation from RE7 to NXT, there is still a lot of reliance, especially for database managers. There's still a ton of reliance on database view. So I don't think it's going away anytime soon unless they do like these big kind of functionality dumps where they're taking huge sections of database view and moving it over. So we're doing our global changes. We're doing our importing. We're still doing all that in database view. A lot of our gift entry is still in database view and so on. So admin sections still, I think, 100% in database view. What is the plan for more customizable reporting? I've loved making crystal reports back in the day. I did it for probably close to a decade. That crystal reports is not really available anymore for us. So we have to lean on outside solutions for our reporting. I was talking to a client last week who is moving to a data warehouse and rewriting all of their crystal reports in Tableau. So that's something. You got to have that expertise on staff, or you're going to pay a bunch of money for someone to do it for you. There's also the Power BI and all that stuff I think is probably where we're all kind of going towards. There's a lot of great resources on Blackbaud knowledge base, but then also in the Facebook RE user group that for all of that custom reporting kind of outside. Carly, I want to make a shirt that says you can pry crystal reports out of my dead hand. The guy holding the database view one. That's a good idea for BBCon next year. Are we able to link multiple gifts to one proposal? I think that answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And whoever asked that question, if you're here, if there's any more kind of information you want to add to that question, feel free to drop that in the chat.
Though, Kevin, one note, I'm not entirely sure if the funded amount will update every gift that you add.
Okay.
I don't know. I believe that I was testing that. I don't think it did. I think it only updates the funded amount for the first gift that you add. Once again, folks, please don't quote me. I have this visual in my head and sort of a note that I made from a year or so ago about that. But I know you can link multiple ones to a proposal, gifts to a proposal. That I can most certainly be able to confirm.
Awesome. How do I deal with the possibility of export not being moved to NXT? I don't think that should be something you'll need to deal with. I think, and actually, Alex, they talked about it on the pub, but
they definitely talked it on the pub. It's the export module functionality will be included in query. So where you do the output in query and you can get duplicate records and you don't have the ability to tell the system, I want these phone types, or I want to have multiple summary information columns and data points. That functionality and that I like to call it the capacity of the export is going to be built where Kevin is. It's going to have that functionality.
So again, we're still kind of holding on to export as it stands in database view right now. But I think when they finally get finished with moving kind of all that specific part over, I think this is going to be very comparable. We'll kind of see what we have to what hoops we need to jump through for exports that already exist, or when you have a complex export and you want to link multiple queries to it. We'll just kind of have to see what that is going to look like when the time comes. But I think moving forward, this is going to be where query and export are going to be kind of tied together. Okay, back to the deck. I love how at Carlene we have a discount code for the mugs. That's great. What is the cutoff date for previous year versus current year gifts? I grabbed this question specifically because of the time of the year we're in. This question, without a doubt, always comes up. And I'm going to give a plug to, I think I have it open somewhere, the RE user group on Facebook. If you're not familiar with it, this is what it's called here, the Razor's Edge Users Group Support Forum. Just a couple things to point out here. 9.4K members. We have a bunch of amazing RE super users that are very generous with their time and their knowledge, that will answer questions almost around the clock. As you can see, as I'm scrolling down, there have been posts, 24 minutes ago, 34 minutes ago, an hour ago. There's so much activity on this page, and there's always people responding to questions. Carlene does it a lot. She's in the chat right now. There's a lot of really good consultants and just kind of experienced users in general that will go and answer questions all the time. So this is where I start before I even go to the knowledge base. You can search on previous posts, again, just a wealth of knowledge in here. And at BBCon, if you go to BBCon, we take a picture every year. So there might be some folks on this call right now that are in this picture here, which is always a lot of fun.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
I have an answer regarding some people asked about what is on the annual giving statement.
Yeah.
It will show split gifts.
Oh, nice.
On the itemized gift list, and it will split them in the fund totals.
Amazing. Are you in our test environment? Do you have someone we can look at?
I'm in our test, but I have it generated right now if you'd like me to.
Yeah. See if you can share. I think it's turned on.
Let me to share my screen. I had to send a request if you don't.
I don't know how to approve that.
I got it. Excuse me. I got it. Sorry, everybody. Excuse me. We're a Teams group here. I'm hoping everybody sees my screen. I know I got the chat up here with everybody, but here it is. This just did some test databases. Here's the split gift right here. Here's the split gift I did today. And then you will see the totals here. Kevin, you got 250, and then I put the rest of it, the 250 in the Stanzione Family Fund. Sample fake database here, folks. But can't confirm split gifts will show itemized and will show correctly in the fund totals. Good question, and definitely confirmed. And I think some people confirmed stock property is not available on here. Gift in kind is not available on here. There was a question being posed that will this be editable to either include and exclude different gift types? I have not heard. I am going to take a note and see if we might be able to find out. I think that's a good question. And I want to see if we can find in the communities as well, if there's a bit, something that we can vote on too. Love to vote on that.
Yeah.
Kevin, I'll stop sharing here and let you go ahead and allow you to
awesome.
share again.
So, so the question was about the gift date as gifts come in last week of the year, first week of next year, and all that stuff. One of the things that I found, and someone just asked about it yesterday in the RE user group, which is why I mentioned that, John Taylor, who is maybe along with Bill Connors, one of the grandfathers of advancement services in Razor's Edge. I remember reading his stuff back when I first started my career a long time ago. Every year around this time, he posts the 2020, this is from last year, but the date of gift summary. He has like this running article about this specific topic. And I pulled out a couple of excerpts. I always hate just reading right from the screen, but I do want to read the excerpts that I pulled from the document because I always think this is something we hear a lot about, of postmark on the envelope versus the date on the check versus what's an RE versus all this other stuff. So I think this kind of narrows it down pretty specifically for us. So we often face the dilemma of donors sending in last minute end of year contributions and being frustrated when they get a receipt mentioning a gift date in January. The donee is not responsible for assigning a date for the gift. That responsibility falls on the donor. If you as a donee were to state a gift date on receipt, you could be required to produce evidence supporting that date during an audit. So what that means is when we say, oh, use the postmark on the envelope, well, that now means that you need to hold on to that for your documentation. And when stuff gets lost in the mail and you get something January 30th that was postmarked December 30th, how are we handling that? So I think this provides kind of a good snapshot of what that kind of what we're responsible for versus what the donor is responsible for reporting on their taxes. The next one, the customary legal date of the gift for mailed contribution is the postmark date. This, however, is not true for metered mail, nor does a postmark reflect the gift's legal date for other non-cash gifts like credit cards and stock. So that's credit cards are handled a little bit differently. The way I think about it is when either the money or stock, property, gift in kind, whatever, whenever it leaves possession of the donor and becomes possession of the nonprofit is kind of the way I think about it. That may help there. And I think I have one more. Yeah, so this was language so John used to work at Duke, or maybe still does, I don't know. But this is what they added to their receipt in January. And I think this is a really nice little paragraph you could put at the bottom of your receipt. We remind you that the date above reflects when we processed your gift. It does not imply your date was the date your gift was made. Consult with your CPA, tax preparer to determine the consequences, yada, yada, yada. So this is good language that you can include on your receipt. So that kind of clears you from any incorrect information that the donor may perceive from your communication. Okay, we are right up on it. Let me find the Q&A in the chat to see if there's anything I'm missing. Alex, I hopefully you have an eye on it.
I have been on it here. I can't confirm in the communities. There is an idea regarding gift types for giving statements. Definitely have confirmed that here. Adding the lingo in here if you want to search, and I will give you the idea number as well. But voting is open for this idea here because I know kind of concur the ability to either include and exclude those.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to get through. We have a couple more slides. And if there's any questions that we don't answer, we don't have time to answer today, join us next month. I'll also include mine and Alex's email address here in the slides so you can reach out to us directly if you have any follow-up questions. Now, this webinar, I love doing. I said before, I love doing this. We're going on our third year of doing this monthly webinar. I absolutely love doing it. It's free. It's open to whoever wants to join. But I do also like to mention the services that our amazing consultants here at NPact offer to our clients. We do a lot of database assessment, policy procedure evaluation, a lot of training, both on-site and remote. And then we also do just buckets of hours where you need some maybe some assistance throughout the year. You can work with your consultant on doing that work for you. So if you have any interest or any need for that, I have another poll question I'm going to launch here. Thank you for sticking around for this. Let me get the polls. Who's ready? Ready to get started. I think this is the one. Yeah. So if you have any interest in any consulting services, feel free to answer appropriately. I see a lot of our current clients in this group today. So thank you so much for your partnership with NPact. You get to work with amazing consultants like Alex and some of the other folks that you'll see on upcoming webinars. And if you enter number one, I will reach out to you by the end of the week. Now, some upcoming events that we have here at NPact. Our January 28th webinar will be more Q&A, and February 25th we'll talk specifically about gift processing, which is a fun one. And Mark Becker will be joining us next month. Angie Dunn will be joining us in February. 2 more of our amazing Razor's Edge consultants. And then some in-person events that are coming up. Our conference tour starts back up here in a few weeks. I'll be in Seattle for the NACE conference, which is the National Association for Independent Schools. So if you are a K-12 and you plan on being out in Seattle in January, make sure you stop by our booth and say hello. We'll be at the National Business Officers Association annual meeting in Orlando in March. So that if you're and that's more K-12 specific as well, but that's business office, FE people. If anyone from your organization is attending that, make sure you ask them to stop by. And lastly, there's our contact information. If there's any topics you want us to discuss on a future webinar, feel free to email me. You can email Alex. This is the time of year. Happy holidays so much from the team at NPact. We hope you get some time off to spend with your friends and family. And also, you get a lot of year-end donations, and you have a ton of work to do on December 30th and 31st and January 2nd and so on. So, Alex, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you all for the amazing chat participation and questions. And we look forward to seeing you next month.
Happy holidays, everybody. Good luck with your year end. Please let us know how we can help.